Smackdown starts off with Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss. They're all cutting a promo mentioning War Games match against the Kabuki Warriors and Nia Jax and Lash Legend. It gets to Charlotte Flair, and she basically ends up saying that she doesn't trust Rhea Ripley. They have too much history, and that she can't be a part of War Games because she doesn't trust Rhea Ripley, and she ends up leaving the ring. So this is going to be a storyline, which I actually kind of do enjoy because this really, they shouldn't be having a War Games match for neither the men or the women, but you're going to make it entertaining. I like this angle of Charlotte Flair refusing to be a part of the War Games match. Now, we all know they're going to have her in a War Games match, but I'm kind of hoping that they built this up until like the go home show of SmackDown just to make it interesting, because the feud itself shouldn't be a War Games match, and it isn't interesting enough to make it a War Game. So adding this element will be a little bit fun, in my opinion, having them try to convince Charlotte or have them even possibly replace Charlotte. So we'll see how this plays out. Hopefully they continue. I hope they do not do where it's just next week they ended up putting her on the team. Like, do not do that. I hope that's not the case, but I hope they continue to actually build this story. But there's not really much here to really go off of because they didn't really do much after this segment, to be honest with you. Because after this segment, the only other segment they had was just them getting attacked by the heel team. So we'll see how this plays out. Afterwards, we end up getting Jey Uso versus The Miz, first round match of the John Cena tournament on SmackDown. This was actually a solid match. I did not expect this match to be as entertaining as it was, to be honest with you. I did not expect The Miz and Jey Uso to put on an actual entertaining match. Um, I enjoyed this match for what it was. Jey Uso picked up the victory. I would have liked to see The Miz continue to go further, but I wasn't expecting him to win anyway, and I don't want him to win anyway, so I'm not mad at Jey Uso winning. Very interested to see how far Jey Uso goes, because Jey Uso is someone that I could see them actually pushing very far in this tournament. I don't see him winning. Just doesn't make sense for him to win. But it wouldn't shock me if he made it to like almost the final round, to be honest with you, with the way they're invested in Jey Uso. So it was a good match. He advances. Nothing more to really say here. We get a U.S. Open challenge between Ilya Dragunov versus Axiom. This was a solid match. I do think this is probably the worst match of the U.S. Open Challenge since it's been going on with Sami Zayn. I do think this is the worst match. It really started to pick up towards like the last 5 minutes. Ilya, of course, retains. After this match, though, we end up getting Tommaso Ciampa ends up attacking Axiom. So this looks like this is going to build a DIY Fraxium feud, which I hope it does, to bring some life into the tag team division. Speaking of the tag team division, where the fuck are the Wyatt Six? Where are they at? Well, they're your tag team champions and they haven't been on TV. Same with the Street Profits. Where are they at? You was doing a story with the whole them turning heel, them portraying each other. We never saw the actual like outcome of that feud. We never saw the outcome. Like, what was the like? This is I said it. I said the moment that the Y6 win those tag titles, the tag team division is not going to be good. Like, I don't know if it's probably an injury of some sort, but even without an injury, the story and all that wasn't all that anyway. But I said that they should never put the titles on the Y6 because it wasn't going to do anything, and we're in and out. But it looks like it's going to be a story between Fraxum and DIY, which I hope could actually be interesting. What's Ilya Dragunov will continue to do his thing. Curious to see if they're actually going to give Tommaso Ciampa an opportunity, because they've been doing this whole thing where Tommaso is trying to get an opportunity for the U.S. title, but Ilya keeps refusing him. So we'll see if they eventually allow him to actually get a title shot, or he never get that shot anyway. But nonetheless, good match. Interested to see what's next for Ilya Dragunov. We'll get a quick Sami Zayn promo. He basically mentions the MFTs, mentioned that MFTs constantly attacking his friends and that he couldn't do anything about it due to his injury and due to Nick Aldis. But he ends up saying that now he's not going to allow the MFTs to keep attacking his friends, and he's going to stick up for his friends. You get the MFTs, Solo comes out. He ends up saying that Solo is selfish, that he doesn't really care about his friend, and that Sami only cares about himself. And he says he's the complete opposite. Solo ends up saying that he could easily attack Sami, but he's not medically cleared, so he's going to wait till he's medically cleared, so that way he will attack him. Sami ends up saying that he is medically cleared and that he doesn't have to wait, and he ends up saying that he has backup as well. So you end up getting Motor City Machine Guns, Shinsuke, and Ray Phoenix. They all come out, battle the MLTs, brawl, and they end up getting the upper hand. And then later in the show, it ends up being confirmed that it's going to be a 5-man elimination Survivor Series style match 2 weeks from now, which I am very confused about. I like the idea. I'm just confused on why can't we do 5v5 5v5 elimination tag match, but we can't do this for Survivor Series. Like, so clearly they can do the 5v5 style, elimination style match. They just don't want to. Now, the only logical thing I could think of why they won't do this is just money. That's the only thing. I just assume that War Games is just a big concept, so it generates more money than a traditional 5v5 match. But, bro, I'm not even the biggest fan of the whole Survivor Series gimmick anyway, because I think it's very overrated. The 5v5 elimination, I think that's overrated as well. I think fans overrate that style of match. But I'd rather do that than War Games, because I always thought War Games was something that should be built up. It should be a heated, intense rivalry. Every year they do it, but it's never a rivalry that warrants it. Like, it's never a rivalry that deserves a War Game stipulation, in my opinion. So I wish they would kind of go back to the 5v5 style, something different, because the War Games thing is a bit played out for both companies, if I'm being honest. So I'm just not that interested, especially because a lot of times the feuds don't really make sense and they're not warranted of a War Game stipulation. So we're gonna get this. I know a lot of people are going to complain about it because the people are going to be like, why can't we just get this for Survivor Series? But it should be a good match. Interesting to see how it plays out, but I'm pretty sure Sami Zayn will probably pick up the victory there. But we'll see how this overall plays out. Now we get LA Knight versus his mystery opponent for the John Cena tournament. The mystery opponent ends up being Zack Ryder, aka Matt Cardona. Came out to a Zack Ryder theme music. They was calling him Zack Ryder through the entire show, which is very interesting because I don't know if he signed with WWE, but the fact that they keep calling him Zack Ryder was very confusing because just a few weeks ago or a month ago, they was calling him Matt Cardona on NXT. They wasn't calling him Zack Ryder. They was calling him Matt Cardona. So the fact that they're calling him now Zack Ryder is telling me that he's signed, but that would be just confusing if he's not signed with WWE, because it's like, why call him Matt Cardona on NXT, which is the same product, WWE, but not on the main roster? I don't get what's the difference. like you might, but I get if you wanted a pop, you call him Zack Ryder. I get that, but couldn't he just come out to the same theme music but still be called Matt Cardona? Well, maybe not, because he's not playing the Zack Ryder gimmick to a degree. I feel like he's a bit different, but who knows? Maybe I'm just wrong, but he was wearing the gear and stuff, so maybe I'm wrong. But nonetheless, it was very cool to see, very nostalgic for me. LA Knight picked up the victory, so I enjoyed that. So he will advance. Don't know who his next opponent is, but he does advance. But very cool to see Zack Ryder. Very cool to see him on the actual main roster. Actually hear that pop, hear the woo woo woo. It was very nostalgic for me, so I really enjoyed this. We'll get a quick match between Jade Cargill, B-Fab. Not gonna really go over it. Jade Cargill swashes B-Fab as she should. But afterwards, we end up getting Michin, comes at the aid of B-Fab. And then you get Jade Cargill basically belittling Michin and pushes her to the ground. So it looks like that's going to be our next feud. Now, I know a lot of people are going to probably complain about this, but I'm just going to be honest with you. There's nothing else to do. Like, I don't know what you expect Jade to do. This is actually good for Jade. They should have done this when she first got on the main roster. I don't know what WWE was thinking with putting her in a tag team. I just felt that was always stupid. I'm like, the main thing they should have always done was just have her swash the entire division. And then when she faces real comp, then you could start having her have matches. But they should have done this from the beginning. Now it looks like she's going to have a match against Michin. There's no one else. Tiffany Stratton is out with an injury. Nia Jax is doing War Games, so I don't know who you expect her to face. There's no one else in Smackdown, so this is the only option. So we'll see how this all plays out, but Jade Cargill is definitely going to swash Michin. Now for the main event. Cody Rhodes versus Bronson Reed for the WWE Undisputed Championship. This match ended up becoming official due to a segment earlier with Paul Heyman, Bronson, and Cody ends up putting his title on against Bronson Reed. Ends up being a disqualification, which was kind of the only outcome, because you're not going to have Cody or Bronson Reed lose before War Games. That's just stupid. So it had to be a disqualification. Braun Breaker and Logan Paul interfere. Then you get Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. They come out. Jimmy Uso is going to be in the War Games match. He's their fourth member. They help, but then you get Drew McIntyre. He comes out, and then the Vision stands tall. Drew McIntyre will be on the heel team, which I do like. So we'll see how this all plays out. Overall, this show, it was mid. I can't lie. This show was very mid. It was very mid. It was some decent stuff, but overall it was a very mid show. And the fact that it's about to go back to 3 hours, bro. Oh, this is only gonna make it worse. But you guys let me know your overall thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.